Hey guys, Level Cap here. Today we're going to be talking about Battlefield 1 Life After Rank 140. What's the game like? Is there still stuff to do and progress towards? One of the biggest criticisms of Battlefield 1 at launch was the progression system. Many people were expecting it to go above and beyond what previous Battlefield games had done since they were lacking, and to most people's surprise, the game actually had considerably less progression at launch. Has DICE been able to remedy this situation over the last year and a half of continued development? Now, just to put things into perspective, in Battlefield 4, I had plenty of things to do even at max rank. Every single weapon in Battlefield 4 not only had an unlock tree for it, unlocking different attachments and stuff. The more kills you got with a weapon, the more attachments you would unlock and progress, but also you could master a weapon, which meant getting 500 kills with that weapon, and you would get a mastery dog tag. Now, admittedly, even for a game as big as Battlefield 4, this progression system was a bit lacking. All you could really do was master different weapons, and it was fun and it kept me busy for a while, but eventually you'll either master all the weapons and run out of things to do in the game, and that was really the only sort of endgame progression that Battlefield 4 had. I mean, it was, hundreds of hours of progression there, just not with a huge amount of cool stuff tied into it. So a lot of people were expecting and requesting Battlefield 1 to go above and beyond this system with soldier customization, more weapon mastery options, cool skins tied into how many kills you could get with weapons, other cool bits of flair and things you could show off maybe in the scoreboard to show that you had prestiged or mastered or done something to show the amount of time or work or expertise you had in the game. And sadly, Battlefield 1 really has not delivered still. A year and a half later, we have gained very little, if barely anything, compared to what the base game of Battlefield 1 provided. One of the biggest new additions to the game that would be considered part of the progression system are service assignments and specializations. Specializations are 3 different attributes you can apply to your soldier that give them slightly different abilities on the battlefield. And to unlock them, you have to complete service assignments. So this is a form of progression and something that can modify your soldier. Unfortunately, though, the specializations are all quite underwhelming. In fact, out of the many specializations they added to the game, I would say there's maybe 1 or 2 worth trying to unlock, and beyond that, they're not really worth it. They don't really bring a lot of new stuff to the game, and the base specializations are so good or so effective that it doesn't make a huge sense to try and unlock some of the additional ones. You can play the game and do just fine without unlocking any of these upgraded specializations. So despite DICE putting them into the game and it sort of technically being a part of the progression system, if it doesn't really add much to the gameplay or have a certain desire factor behind it, then for me especially, it certainly didn't factor in, and I saw no need to get any of these service assignments or specializations beyond just a few ones that I thought were kind of interesting. Like there's one for the support class that gives you the ability to suppress even further than normal, and that's like one of the few ones that I think is like worth going for. And unfortunately, this does seem to be the direction DICE had chosen for its progression system. They just didn't design it well, so nobody was really interested in progressing through it because, again, there wasn't really a huge point to it. Now, at one point, they were trying to do weapon masteries. They call them, I think, mastery codexes for the weapons. And if you got 500 kills for 8 guns in the game, you would unlock a codex. Nothing else would unlock for the weapon. No cool skin, no weapon attachments, no weapon variation, nothing that you could use in-game or display in-game by getting a mastery. So again, this was kind of a disappointing addition to the game. You would have it and you could see it in your menu, but it wouldn't give you anything in-game that you could actually use, even from a cosmetic perspective. And so DICE implemented this for 8 weapons. I imagine they probably didn't see a lot of people working towards these, and they decided not to implement them for any other weapons, despite them saying when they first introduced them that they're going to add them to a lot of other guns in the game. So that was sort of an attempt at starting a progression system, and then they bailed on it. And then really one of the last attempts DICE made at implementing a progression system was introducing class ranks beyond rank 10. So if you ranked your class up to rank 10, that before would let you unlock rank 10 weapons. And that was something that people could do within the first month or two of the game coming out. You could hit class rank 10 and unlock stuff like the Hellriggle, and that was an actual progression system. You did stuff in game, you ranked up, you unlocked higher level weapons. Wow, what a crazy concept. Well, they added in 40 more class ranks beyond rank 10, except they didn't add anything that these class ranks unlocked, other than changing the color of your class emblem from, I think it was like bronze to silver to gold. And that was it. And it's very non-noticeable. It's hard to even see this class rank change. And so it really felt like it was a nothing in terms of progression. It's like, yeah, you could see a number change, but other than that, it didn't really do anything for you. Similar to ranking up your character in Battlefield 1. All you would get is basically a slightly different number and a slightly different emblem. The levels in Battlefield 1 really didn't connotate any sort of unlocks or skin unlocks or anything you could progress towards. They're just numbers. It's like the foundation for a progression system, and then somebody forgot to make the content for it. The cosmetic unlocks, the cool flair in game that you could get to show off your distinction and how much time you put into the game, or how many kills you've gotten with a weapon. There's just nothing really to show for, and unfortunately there still isn't anything to show for in terms of the progression system. Now, fortunately, DICE did add in community missions, which are missions that refresh themselves every 3 to 4 to 5 days usually, and the missions are stuff like get 50 kills with the assault class, or gain a certain amount of points with the medic class, and if you do that, you'll unlock usually an elite tier battle pack, or you'll get some scraps, something that sort of progresses you towards unlocking battle packs that can give you new skins. Now, this isn't really a progression system in the sense that battle packs and skins are all random chance based, so if somebody has a cool skin in game, it doesn't represent time that they put in or hard work that they put in. It just means luck of the draw. So I could get the most rare skin in the game with 2 hours in the game, where somebody could have 500 hours in the game and never get that skin. It doesn't really connotate skill or progression or anything like that. It's more of a luck thing, but it is still something to do in endgame. There's always going to be some community missions that you can be working on. Not always. If you complete them quickly, you won't have anything to work on, but they're at least in the game. Sadly, though, the community mission system isn't particularly good in that there's no in-game tracker still, so you can't really follow your community mission progress. It doesn't tell you when you've completed a mission, and you have to exit the round and check your menu system to see if your mission's done, and then manually claim that mission to get the reward for it. Calling this clumsy UI design is an understatement, to say the least, and I even noticed recently that if you have a community mission that you haven't completed recently and a better one comes out, it actually won't update you with the better community mission, and sometimes your old community mission will still be there. For example, I had to get 100 kills on the new map Rupture. I didn't complete this mission, and the next Assault community mission came out, and I didn't get the Elite Battle Pack mission, which is an important one to get, because you can only have 2 community mission slots at a time, and there's no way to like disband or get rid of a mission if you don't want it. And so it's just a bad system. I don't like it at all. It's something to do, but it is like barely functional and poorly designed at best. So in terms of Battlefield 1 at rank 140, the game is still fun. You can figure out what maps and modes and weapons you like. You can hop on and have a pretty good time playing solo or playing with friends. It's still a fun game. The progression system is barely there. The community mission is really the only thing you have to do at endgame, and that is not something that will be available to you 100% of the time. You could work on upping your class rank for things like tanker or pilot or cavalry, some of the ones that take a little bit longer to get, but they're not going to award you with anything that you can really show off in game. You can also work on unlocking the service assignments for specializations that you'll never use, but again, that's just from a completionist mentality and doesn't really bring much to the gameplay experience. So Battlefield 1 Life After Rank 140 is still fun. It's still Battlefield 1. If you enjoy Battlefield 1 gameplay, it's still going to be the same fun gameplay, but there just really isn't anything to really progress towards or work on, which is unfortunate to say the least. And it's not to say that you need a progression system to have fun gameplay. We all played games in the early 2000s that didn't have any sort of progression system, and we all just played for the gameplay. And I'd like to think for the most part we do just play games for the gameplay. But that being said, in today's modern gaming culture, a well-designed progression system brings a lot to the table. It can inspire you to work on new types of gameplay. It can just add sort of this underlying progression mechanic that makes you feel like you're constantly working towards and progressing towards things. So even if you have a bad round, you might be like, well, at least I got a lot of kills, which means I'm progressing towards this cool new unlock or something like that. And so there's just a lot of benefits to the progression system, and I hope that the next Battlefield game does not follow in the footsteps of Battlefield 1 and rather evolves the progression system into something that's good long-term and provides lots of content after rank 140 or whatever the max rank will be. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap signing off.